Well, hello, everybody. Today is Friday, January 18th, and this is our mentor class. So this class is specifically for people who are relatively advanced in the Aspyrre program. In other words, who've been with me for a long time and are doing now mentor training. And so I wanted to give you an overview of what we did in the class for those of you who missed it. So what we will do all the time when we begin the class probably is start our round robin with updates on how things are going with the people that you're mentoring, and then questions, anything that would be helpful to hear. And then the call will just naturally develop from that. So for the most part, every time you join this mentor class, I'll be expecting you to come with an update on how you're doing with everybody that you're mentoring, and I'll also want to know whatever questions you have. And that discussion will likely take up the entire class. So we're not going to have a lot of PowerPoint training on concepts, but that might happen. And so today, obviously, I will never record the updates on how things are going with people, but what I will record are some of the important things that came out of the conversation. And today, two things came out of the conversation that I thought would be important for you to hear about. The first is what I'm going to call role dancing. So what we talked about is we're at a pretty unique place here in the Aspyrre community, and that is that I've chosen, instead of bringing other coaches from the outside into the program as I need additional help in serving clients, I've chosen to develop the clients who have been working actively on growing themselves over these past several years, have been with me for a really long time, know the Aspyrre tools in and out, share a common language with me around growth, are using the Aspyrre tools such as the trigger tool, understanding their needs, getting their needs met, working on beliefs in terms of growth. So they're the best people to help new people coming in with some of those issues. Also, the people that come into Aspyrre tend to be very talented, have very rich experience, and their own expertise to share. So, for example, we have people who are recruiters, we have people who are leaders in big organizations, and so they have a lot of experience to share. So, with that said, we have a unique position where if you're training to be a mentor, you're still also being coached by me, and if you're going to be mentoring other people under my supervision as well as be coached by me, that's not too unusual, but those are two distinct roles, right? So the one role is my client, and then the second role is now you're somewhat my vendor or my consultant, or I'm your client. And we talked about there's a third role in there that has usually happened between these two, and that is we become friends. So if we work together long enough, usually our role together changes from just being client and coach to being client and coach and also friends. And that in itself, to have that type of a client, not that type of a client, but that type of a relationship, requires having really clean boundaries. And that's why when you have a therapist, typically you're never going to become friends with that therapist. You can have a relationship with that therapist that goes on past your therapy, and you could feel really close to that therapist, but there are very strict boundaries that get put into place where you don't have an outside friendship with that therapist. That's considered a conflict of interest. Well, with coaching, we have more flexibility, but in order to make sure that our relationships stay healthy, we have to have extremely strong boundaries with each other. What that basically means is we have to each take ownership of our own feelings, and we have to be able to talk through any issues. And Kathy has provided a great model of that with me through Aspyrre. I mean, she's the one that actually gave me the idea of even doing it this way. 15, 16 years ago, Kathy rose her hand and said, hey, if you need any help, I'd love to help you. And we kept our coach-client relationship. We became friends, and she also started helping me with Aspyrre, and we've maintained that relationship for, 15 years now. and it's been wonderful. So that gave me the idea that I could do this with more people than one, but I think it's really important for us to always be aware of that. So as you move into this mentoring program, you and I are going to have 3 relationships. We're going to have the relationship where you are my client, and we're going to have the relationship where I'm your client, and we're going to have the relationship where we're friends. And so in order to do that, we have to have a really great, healthy relationship with each other, and that's one of the things that we discussed on the call. And then as you take on people you're mentoring within this program, you're going to have more to add on, because as you take on someone to mentor, you're going to be guiding them, but then you're also going to be on calls with them where you're both classmates, because you have been in this program longer than them, but you're still working on your personal growth right alongside them. So you may be a little bit more along in the Aspyrre path than they are, and you may have some experiences that you're sharing with them to guide them and help them along and be part of the Aspyrre team, but you're also right there with me learning and growing at the same time. And that's why I've always been very open about sharing my own growing experiences with all of you on the phone, because I think we need to set a precedent there. But what we're doing is we're forging relationships in a new way, and probably in a little bit of a cutting edge way. And I think they're way healthier than other types of relationships like this. So I really love that we're doing this, but we just need to be very cognizant of it. And so if you have someone that you're mentoring and you also happen to be in a class with them, then you're going to be working with them to forge a friendship, a mentoring relationship, and a peer relationship in the Aspyrre program. And so you want to talk with them about those clean boundaries too, because people coming into the program may not have ever even heard about setting boundaries. You know, who knows who comes into the program. So it's really important to understand that. So that's what I'm going to say about role dancing. It was a really nice discussion that we had on the call today. And for those of you that weren't on the call, if you want to talk about it more, you know, as always, you can email me and we can talk more about that. The second thing we talked about is specifically our transition clients that are in the Thriving in Transition program. They have some unique needs in that while they're in transition, especially if they're in job transition, they may need more tangible support in the way of, you know, having assistance and having someone write their resume, or maybe wanting someone to watch them, like do a fake interview for them, or something like that to help them. And so we talked a little bit about that and how to experiment with different ways to support them in that, maybe outside of the Aspyrre program or as an add-on service to the group program, going beyond what it is that we offer sort of within our team, or finding other people in our network that we really like and we respect that do more, that offer complementary services for our transition clients, that we can refer them to when the service that they need isn't directly something we offer. And also, you know, maybe networking really strongly with the other transition support services within this community. So that was another thing that we discussed a little bit. So that's the main topics that we had of discussion today. I think I'll stop it here because, as usual, every time we get on this class, the topics are going to be different, and they're going to be based on what's going on with the people you're mentoring and sort of what you want to get clarity on. So I'll just say again, I want to extend my appreciation to all of you who've signed up for the mentoring program, because I believe that this is a way to not only give back, but also to advance your own growth. So as we work with people and as we teach them these concepts, we grow just as much as they do. And this is one of the reasons that I've grown so much, I think, in the last 20 years, because as I've been coaching others, I've been growing myself. So I just want to say how much I appreciate this and how excited I am for the new and accelerated transformations you're going to be experiencing yourself as you continue on being an Aspyrre mentor. All right, so that's the end of this, and we'll talk again soon. Bye.